many of you guys know, as we talk about cults on the main channel, that there seems to be like this thing that connects all these cult leaders. And it's just like this aura that everyone says they have, that they're charming, they're personable, they're all these things. There's a lot of correlation between like descriptive narcissistic behaviors and cult leaders. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about tonight. It's just something that's just personally been on my mind. And as we, look through these businesses with their deceptive practices and we look at cults, it's like this recurring theme of the leader. It's something I wanted to look at. It's something that just like, as someone who is apparently a fucking idiot, and I seem to always attract narcissists, and it fucking sucks because I always get really hurt. I know personally like what it feels like. I've never been in a cult or anything, but I know like that kind of hurt essentially when that fourth wall or whatever breaks. And so it's really made me curious about what is it about certain types of people that make them capable of becoming a cult leader? Is that the right way to say it? I think so. We're going to start from what I think is a pretty safe source to talk about when we're talking about cults. We're going to be going to the Cult Education Institute, and we're just going to start by discussing narcissistic behaviors and identifying them. What is a narcissist, right? 9 ways many narcissists behave like cult leaders so we can get a nice baseline. So to start, cult leaders are going to act larger than life. They claim to be innately good, possessing special wisdom. They're vulnerable, or they're answerable to no one with no one above them. And before we even go to the 9 ways many narcissists act like cult leaders, let's go to just this and just talk about narcissistic personality disorder a little bit itself. It's a grandiose sense of self-importance. It's apparently a defining characteristic. It's more than just arrogance or vanity. Grandiosity is an unrealistic sense of superiority. Narcissists believe they are unique or special and can only be understood by other special people. What's more, they are too good for anything average or ordinary. They only want to associate or be associated with other high-status people, places, and things. They live in a world of fantasy. They need constant praise and admiration, entitlement, exploiting others without guilt or shame, and they frequently demean, intimidate, bully, or belittle other people. It's so funny because like I look at this from the completely opposite perspective of someone who's dealt with many narcissists like hurting me. I've been literally told most of my life. So I grew up kind of as a gifted kid. I was one of those gifted burnout kids, right? And then I got older and it turned into like, it went from, oh my God, you're this gifted kid, you're so smart, whatever. And then it was, you're so stupid and you don't know what you're doing and you're a loser and you're never going to be worth anything in life. And I got told that very consistently by friends, estranged family, all sorts of people that just made me feel like really, really bad about myself, that I just wasn't worth really much of anything. So these are kind of the top things with a narcissist, right? So now let's switch it to ways narcissists behave like cult leaders, because I think that's important too. Let's go talk about 9 characteristics of destructive cults and cult leaders, and let's see if any of these are gonna. So number 1 is cult leaders are gonna act larger than life. They're gonna be innately good, possessing special wisdom and all of that. Cult leaders are also expected to subjugate their own needs for the good of a leader or cause. And if you don't want to follow that, it's evil, and it's often self-destructive by following them. And that also goes into the, I guess, point 3, which is how they say the us versus them attitude, that it's outsiders are enemies. If you're not friends with them, if you don't know them, they must be evil by default. And that's kind of how it goes. These are dangers. So it's safety within and it's danger from the outside. The feelings are devalued, minimalized, or manipulated. Shame, guilt, coercion, and fear to keep members in line. Questioning and dissent are not tolerated. So if you don't believe the leader, if you think something's up, you better keep that to yourself and never let a cult find out, right? That's kind of the deal there. Closeness to the cult and leader are rewarded. Independence is punished. Again, they want to create that, like, I don't want to say like sheep because it's like so much QAnon shit, like, oh my God, the sheep. I hate that crap, but it's kind of like a sheepy thing. They flock to the shepherd, right? Are repeated so often they seem true. Isn't that gaslighting? I don't want to say that's because that's like another buzzword that everyone likes to use is gaslighting, but I'm pretty sure that's gaslighting. Isn't it like reconstructing someone like by just like manipulating them or whatever to make them think something was true when it wasn't? So let's go ahead and take a look at some like, I guess, take a look at some of them in real life. Take a look at some prominent cult leaders, right? Some of the guys that you'll definitely know. So let's go ahead and start with my favorite asshole cult leader, Keith Raniere. So Keith Raniere, a lot of you guys probably know about him, infamous leader behind the NXIVM sex cult. I've talked about them, I think, twice on the channel. This is the face of the dude that would brand women's coochies, took women as slaves, massive money stealing ring shenanigans, and still, as a matter of fact, has a fucking loyal fan base while he's behind bars. Like, what? So there's a little snippet that I have from Psychology Today about Keith, and they say, why would anyone form an alliance with Raniere, especially someone as well educated and seemingly sympathetic as Salzman? And Nancy Salzman was kind of his like right hand, who is also a former psychiatric nurse. It's the same question we ask of those who play a supporting role to sexual abusers like Jeffrey Epstein and fraudsters like Bernie Madoff. He's one of these examples because it's hard to deal with him. I mean, you look at this guy, like, I'm gonna be real, a lot of you guys are like, oh my god, fucking nasty, he looks like a deep fake of himself, whatever. This doesn't look like the type of guy that would do that shit, right? And I think that's something to note with most, I think, of the cult leaders, is a lot of them don't look immediately like what you would think of when you think of a cult leader. Like, this is a normal dude. Yeah, Allie, he's just average. There's nothing crazy about this guy. There's nothing that you look at this guy and go, this guy's special. What you can tell from his face shape is you can tell he sleeps, I guess, on his right side and facing us. Looking in the stream, that would be that left side, because you can see it's indents more, like it's more sharper, whatever, and looks a little flatter. I found out that if your face is uneven, that's part of the reason why, is because you sleep on that one side specifically. Fun fact. I don't know why that's why I thought of it right the fuck now, but I did. So, but this guy doesn't look like he's crazy, right? He doesn't look like he ran this insane fucking cult. And I guess he was convicted of sex trafficking, so that's like a thing too. He got nurses, he got, you know, actresses. He got, speaking of actresses, Allison Mack was one of like the top in command at this place. So that right there is the brand in question that I was talking about too. I don't know a lot about branding since it's not really something I like to look up, and it's not something I'm into. But like, I thought originally, right? Like, when I heard branding, I thought of like cattle branding, right? How they have like a hot poker stick with like a logo on it. You like sear it, right? That sounds so fucking terrible. But apparently for that, as you can see, the marks have different levels of swelling. I don't know. It healed, like bubbly, like that. And I believe that was actually done by like a, what do you call, like a pen? Like a burn pen. Like there's like I bought a laser recently to like engrave wood, but there's like a hand laser essentially that you can use, and I believe it was something similar to that. And so this woman, I don't want to say her specifically, I don't want to say Sarah specifically, but people have talked about it in the lawsuit that they were essentially, the women were held down by like multiple people. A soldering iron, yes, that. They were held down by multiple people, usually stripped naked, and then this was forcibly done to them. It was NXIVM is still probably one of the most disturbing scripts, the most disturbing research to ever go through. There was nothing good to be found. It was bad. But that's apparently how something like that is made, is these scars, these branding were not done by like a one and done kind of thing. Like, you had to sit there and deal with someone like literally burning into your skin while you're being stripped naked and held down. And that looks not only like it was painful, but that looks like a painful reminder of what happened too. And it's placed in such like an aggressive area, might I say. I feel like this is placed like in an extremely aggressive part of your body. Like it's somewhere that like that is painful to get tattooed, hurt, whatever, but to get branded there, and I don't know, it something about it doesn't sit right with me, the location, for multiple reasons. I can't quite put my finger on it though. About 17,000 people have dealt with NXIVM. That's insane. By comparison, about 25,000 individuals in the United States are self-identified Scientologists. So like that's how, you know, like you think about Scientology, we know what Scientology is, but this had, you know, a couple thousand off of Scientology, and yet it was largely secretive, but fucked up things were going on behind the scenes. I'm sure fucked up things are going on behind in Scientology. I've seen many documentaries and stuff like that, but you know, you never really know, I think. Yeah, look at this. Back to like the narcissistic thing. Rainier presented himself as a great philosopher, an ethical man, and a scientist pushing the bounds of human capability. He had not only devised classroom-based courses that lasted as long as 12 hours a day for 16 days, recalling the Landmark Forum, which is another thing we talked about in another video. It's hard when you talk about how large companies are exploiting people, and I get it how those more politically inclined will be like, well, that's, you know, a political position. But if it's political to say that humans deserve fucking rights and they deserve to be able to live and not just survive as serfs on someone else's land, then yeah, sure, I guess that's fucking political. Like, my God. But anyway, I'm not gonna dig too much into NXIVM because this was just, as you can see, so much fucking text. Yeah, so I'm done with that.